Hey guys, welcome to a new video. This one is not part of the fountain pen review series. This one we're just going to be comparing the different pens inside my pen roll that I keep as an everyday carry. Now I have this in my pocket every day. It has a ballpoint if in case I need to lend out a pen to anybody. 2 fountain pens and a mechanical pencil, because obviously I need the mechanical pencil for college, and a blue and a black fountain pen is always useful to have 2 different colours in there. Now all these pens are the cross-century and they're all the very old models, so I believe all these from the 1980s, and they all have a very similar design. So they all have a cylindrical body that tapers down towards the edges, and they all have like pinstripes that go down them. Now all of them have the same clip apart from the ballpoint, which doesn't have a clip at all. And the ballpoint has an interesting like floral pattern on it, and none of the other ones do, which is interesting. Now, as I mentioned in the chrome video, the video about the chrome fountain pen, excuse me, I mentioned about the fact that this one was longer than the other pens, and I forgot to mention that in the video here. So I can kind of do it in this video. Now, as you can see, when I first got this pen, the chrome one, I had it with a mechanical pencil, and the mechanical pencil was ever so slightly shorter than the chrome one, and I mentioned that in the video of it. So as you can see, it's ever so slightly shorter. I thought that was just because it was a thinner pen, a pencil. The pencil was thinner than the pen, and the fact that, so that's why it was shorter. Obviously the ballpoint is the same length as the mechanical pencil. Oh, didn't mean to drop that. However, the ballpoint is the same length as this fountain pen, which is interesting. And the mechanical pencil is the same length as the gold-filled one. And the gold-filled one is slightly shorter than the chrome one. Now, isn't that interesting? For some reason, oh, that's flying away. Put that down because it didn't have any sort of thing. Sorry about that. Didn't have any sort of a clip. Now, as you can see, the cap is the same length, which is interesting. The body is slightly longer. Now, how strange is that? Now, this is probably bad because I'm probably going to drop stuff everywhere. Just please excuse me while I just unscrew this. I don't want anything to roll away. Right, as you can see, oh, there's a cartridge in there. For some reason, the barrel is slightly longer. Now, I mentioned this, I believe I mentioned this in the video, is that the black cartridge is slightly loose inside here when you screw it back together. And that's probably because, for some reason, this chrome is longer. The barrel is longer. I'm not entirely sure why. I'll just cap these up so they dry out while I'm here. I'm just pretty sure I've got ink on my desk there, but we'll just ignore that for now. Cap that up. So that's really it. The design aspects, there is some other interesting design aspects. The finials are all different. The fountain pens are the same. Well, obviously the gold one has a shiny bit and the other one has a matte bit, because I believe it's scratched a bit. However, the ballpoint and the mechanical pencil, both different. This one's very thin for some reason. This one's thick and it has a line through it. This one has a dot on it. This one doesn't. So this one has a floral pattern. I don't know. They're all very different. Another interesting design note to point out is the fact that the original chrome fountain pen, has an italic font, and then says "Made in Ireland" beside it, whereas this one says "Made in Ireland" under it and has a regular style font. And the rest of them have that, so this one's got an interesting design pattern there. Now I kind of wanted to do a bit of a writing sample of each of the pens. Now obviously my handwriting is very good, so I will warn you before that. It's going to be very hard for me to reach over because I've got a camera tripod here, so it's going to be harder for me to write, and my handwriting is going to be worse than it usually is. And the fact this is on a slope because my computer keyboard's back here, and the fact that I have limited space on my desk because my tripod's in the way for the camera. So without further ado, I think because the order I usually keep it in is the ballpoint on this right side, then the gold fountain pen here, and then the silver fountain pen, or the chrome fountain pen there, and then the mechanical pencil there. I usually keep them in this order. So I'm going to do the ballpoint first to get the boring out of the way. Now, if you haven't seen the ballpoint video, my first ever video on the channel, and an introduction to the previous series, I mentioned that the cross ballpoint was the smoothest refill I've ever used in one of these, in a ballpoint before, and it acted more like a rollable. So, yeah. So again, like, I will apologise for the handwriting here, but obviously it's a ballpoint, so it's not going to be the best in the first place. You probably can't see what I'm writing, and I hope that I got it in frame. So this is the I will be quite silent when I'm writing because I can't really write while I talk. It's not gold filled, sorry, it's gold rolled. Excuse me there. There you go. Obviously it's a ballpoint, so it's really awful and cramped to write with, but it is very smooth for what it is, being a ballpoint, which is interesting. Now, as you can, I don't know if you can see that, there is a line there for some reason connecting the ink, so obviously the paste ink, it's kind of dragged itself a bit, which is interesting. I don't know what that's about. Please just ignore that because that's just awful. But it's a ballpoint, and for some reason this isn't focusing. Hello? Hello? There we go. Ballpoint pen. Obviously, my handwriting's awful, as you can see. And obviously with the ballpoint, doesn't help at all. So we'll put that aside. Obviously, I just wanted to show a wetness test of this. It's a ballpoint, so it's not going to be very wet at all. It's going to dry instantly. However, because it's a good refill, it's quite smooth, you can see a bit where it rubs off there, which is interesting. Now I've got ballpoint paste on me, which is quite annoying. Now it's on to the juicy stuff, the actual fountain pen. This one is the gold, 14 karat gold nibbed version. As I mentioned, let's hope there's no ink on the section, as it draws a vacuum. I just keep knocking the camera, sorry about that. This is again a cross. This is the gold filled version. It's the fountain pen. This one has a 14 karat gold medium nib. Just want to point out that this here is a medium nib as well. I'm writing over the wetness test, but you know, that's a medium nib. Ballpoints are awful, by the way. That's just really hard to write with. So as you can see, my handwriting is still pretty awful, but you can kind of make that out. Cross Century, 80s, gold filled, fountain pen, 40k medium nib. Wetness test, like I said, it's not as wet as the chrome version, which I'm going to show you, but obviously a lot wetter than a ballpoint. So I'm not sure if this paper is very good. Maybe it's the Serenity Blue, but I found that Serenity Blue was quite wet in the steel nibbed version. But like I said, if you haven't watched the video, I did a review on it. I told you why it had a very interesting thing. I could even write down the ink colour. This is to be honest, I don't know why I didn't do that before. Probably gonna smear this now, but it's dried quite relatively quickly. So this has just got a cross blue ball pen refill. That's not how you spell refill. Oh well, there you go. You get the idea. This one is Waterman Serenity Blue, like so. Nice colour. Just pop that back there. Again, handwriting's awful. I do apologise. This is the steel nib version. So this is the Cross Century 80s. This is the lustrous chrome finish, as it's mentioned on the latest website. I doubt you can read that. It says lustrous, by the way. Fountain pen. I'm not sure if you can hear that this one's definitely has a lot more feedback than the other one. Now, I mentioned that in the video that sometimes it scratches. This has just got a steel medium nib, and this has just got a cross black cartridge in it. And the wetness for this pen, definitely wetter than the other one. However, this one it looks like it produces a finer line ever so slightly at the start, but then it kind of came a bit broad at the end. Maybe the ink is probably saturating the feed, but definitely wetter than the other one. That one. And obviously the next one, the last one in the video is, I keep knocking the camera again, I do apologise. This is the Cross Century 80s again. I'm actually assuming that these are all from the 80s, but I have no idea if they are. This is a silver plated mechanical pencil, and this has a 0.9mm lead in it. And again, like I said, it's just cross lead. Yeah, obviously it's a pencil, has no wetness. However, you can kind of do some shading with it. I don't know what the term is when you rub pencil, obviously, and produce kind of this effect. But it does that, obviously. And it's nicer because it's a thicker lead than other mechanical pencils. Like I said in the original video, I wasn't really a fan of mechanical pencils because they all have very fine leads and they're all scratchy, but this one has a 0.9 lead. So as you can see, my handwriting is just absolutely awful, especially with the ballpoint. The fountain pen is not much better, but still, I much prefer using the fountain pen. As you can see, ballpoints are just awful. The 14K medium nib is definitely a lot drier, and I did explain that, than the steel nib. That's because the nib had some issues with it. Obviously the ballpoint also says it's a medium nib, but as you can see it's much finer than the other one, which is interesting actually, but obviously it's a ballpoint, so it's not going to absorb into the page. Now, do apologise for that noise. Just kind of want to show you if there was any bleed through. This paper isn't the best paper. It's not even marked as any grams per square metre, has no brand name or anything. It's just a A4 refill pad, it says. As you can see, the ball pen, there is ghosting, so this paper is quite thin. So you can see ghosting. Obviously that's not going to be bleed through because it's a ballpoint pen. So that's the same with the Serenity Blue. You can tell instantly that the black is wetter and more saturated because you can obviously see it more, and you can kind of see some bleed through on there. I don't know if you can see that. Obviously the pencil's not going to show anything, but it does because it's cheap paper, so it's quite thin. So that's basically just comparing my everyday carry pens. Like I said, I personally don't use a ballpoint, but if I'm out and about, anyone needs to borrow a pen, there you go. Ballpoint, two different colours of fountain pen, ink, and obviously a pencil, which I use at college, which also may be useful out and about as well. I again do apologise for my handwriting, it is absolutely terrible, but if you did somehow manage to enjoy the video, and if you made it this far, comment, ballpoints suck, because they just do. They're absolutely awful. I'm going to get rid of this because handwriting is atrocious. Like I said, comment ballpoint suck down below. It helps me see if you actually watched the end of the video. I highly doubt you have because it's just been me writing with my awful handwriting. Sorry I knocked the camera then. I hope to see you in the next video, which probably won't be for a while because I don't have any more pens to review. I might do watch reviews maybe because, for example, my Amiga watch, but I doubt that you will see that. That is what? Oh, that's just where my watch was slid down my wrist a bit tight there. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.